And what I love that you don't hear a lot of quote unquote new, right, is Jesus dealt with people. Some of his best friends were Mary and Martha. In John's gospel, it's Martha that gives the messianic statement, not Peter, right? He has women who traveled with him who took care of, the women who traveled with him took care of the needs. He sent women as the first ones to announce the gospels, right? There's almost so much neutrality in the way that Jesus deals with men and women as humans, right? And so that's part of what I love is you don't get these, there must be particular distinctions between male and female so much in the Gospels. You see God who created, this is going to make me cry, men and women in his image, receiving them and loving them. And there's just not this, because you have a particular gender, I'm supposed to receive you in a certain way. You're just mine. You're just mine. And then when you've got to figure out how to take this gospel and make and help it take root in a hostile environment, then there's a little elbow. Paul has to elbow some space out in some things in order to protect that gospel. But Paul's not telling the whole story. He's protecting the gospel, and the gospel belongs in the whole story of Scripture. You know my favorite one with Jesus?
What?
Is when he tells the story of that poor, exhausted woman who was married 7 times, and then finally in heaven there's no giving and taking in marriage.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
I do.
It's one of my favorites.
I never thought about that as from the perspective of how is Jesus relating to people and seeing that
I think
woman
in
her
every
particular
single
state.
story where you see Jesus interact with a woman, she comes out ahead.
I love that.
With the woman who is at the well, it's Jesus who comes out as the one who doesn't know the appropriate social boundaries, and she comes out as the hero and the evangelist, right? Whereas the woman with the Syrophoenician, with the daughter who is demon possessed, right? It is Jesus who comes out looking like the bad guy about the whole dogs, the crumbs under the table, and she comes out looking brilliant and outsmarting him. With Mary and Martha, he just over and over and over. This is just what Jesus does, right? So when we get into these church contexts where over and over and over again, you've got these dynamics, which I've run into in church contexts, where men who have to be the smartest ones in the room, they need to learn that from Jesus. That, whatever you think about roles and things like this, the Jesus who you represent as a leader and a pastor made sure that this other human person in the room came out looking better than he did. So that's the goal.
That's good. That's really good. I'm trying to listen really, really well.